Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. It's my first time in London. I've been to the UK before, but first time in London, first time in a DevOps conference, so I'm really happy to be here today. Um, Today I'm doing a little bit of a comparison of three of the most famous testing tool, automation testing tool, but also like my favorite ones. And I've started doing testing like 6, 7 years ago with Selenium, of course. And during my journey, I used different ones. And now that I have like a little bit of experience with the three of them, when I have to speak with like new developers that are joining the team, they always like ask me why we are using a specific testing tool. So I decided to maybe do a talk, maybe someone is interested to this topic. So a little bit about myself. My name is Soumaya. I'm from Italy, and I work in a little company in the north of Italy named Atlantis, and I'm a senior software developer. Now I do mainly front-end. I'm in a front-end team, and I used to work with a blockchain team, so I speak a lot about Web3. You can find me speaking about that. I'm an international speaker. I love to speak about tech and like give other people my point of view of what I'm using. And I like everything that is technology and from IT to electronics. Testing. My journey with testing was a little bit tough because I used to hate testing. Who loves testing, right? At the beginning, I had to do testing because someone was telling me to do tests. So it wasn't like something that I was doing because I wanted to do that, but because I had to do. And I didn't have like, I didn't see the point to do it. Why should I like write code to see if my code is right? So I couldn't see the real motivation to do it. And I started to understand when I became a team leader of this team, and I decided to don't do tests anymore. So it was a little bit of trouble, and we had to work on Saturday and Sundays because like production was broken. So yeah, I came back to do testing, and I started to understand why we do that. Testing, so it's important because like we can ensure the quality and also like that our code is actually working and will not have like surprises on production. And in particular, I'm going to talk about end-to-end testing because in front end, I think it's like the most like something that you can actually see the relevance of it. And this is where I'm focusing right now. End-to-end testing, I love it because it's a technique that verifies two things that for me are like fundamental. That is that the functionalities and the performance is working how it should. So this is like the most important things about end-to-end testing. And for end-to-end testing, we have automation testing that are really helpful for developers like I am, but also are really helpful for people that are not developers but work in testing teams. Because like testing is not just for developers, but there are like a group of people that are not like that technical, but have the knowledge enough to that they can use like these tools and can test actually the code. So these automation testing are like these applications, these tools that we can use to actually run our tests without like the knowledge of the whole like code base. And yeah, for years, Selenium was like the top #1 because there wasn't like a real competitors with Selenium. So if we can go back to like old code bases, we can actually only see Selenium like emerging all of them. So today we are doing a comparison of these three that I think are like the most popular ones, and maybe Selenium is still prevalent, even if like it's the older one, and the new ones are like maybe better for some things, but we can see it because like it has a long history, and so all the code bases that are a little bit old is still have Selenium in it. So let's start from the oldest one that is like has released in 2004, so 20 years ago. And we had this first version of Selenium. It wasn't like the best at the beginning, so there was a little bit, we needed a little bit of time to see an actual version of Selenium that was really working and really stable. And in particular, I started with Selenium WebDriver, and I think it's still now a good solution. So it's actually a WebDriver. So we have this WebDriver that is communicating with our browser and with these specific drivers that, like, from our code will output to any browser. So we have support to any browser to run Selenium, and this is actually great. Selenium has support for like pretty much any programming language, and also this is like a real important thing. It's actually, I think, the most important things about Selenium. Like, if we see the good things about Selenium, the language and the browser support are like the more important ones. And the large community. The large community, because like 20 years of Selenium, there are a lot of people that actually work with Selenium every day. So we can have a lot of examples on the internet. We have support because like the community is really, really supportive. Also like for beginners, so they want to help you, they want you to use Selenium. On the bad things, I think that Selenium is still a little bit slow. It's fast, but it's not as fast as the competitors. So there is something to adjust on that. Fluky tests, because sometimes you get maybe your test passed or not passed, but it's actually, it's not like that. And that's because it is not like immediate to get the response. So sometimes if you are not familiar, you can like get the result wrong. So it's easy to get the result wrong if you are not as like familiar with it. And it has a little bit of a complex setup. So you have to look harder on how it works. So let's see a little bit of code to see how it works. I did this, this project is like a really stupid project, and it's like HTML and JavaScript that is actually a simple calculator. I will run it just to show you, and I will use the same code to do the tests with the different tools. So let's see. It's a little, let's make it a little bit bigger. It's a calculator, so we can add, we can subtract, and we get like the result. So let's see Selenium. For Selenium, we just need to install Selenium WebDriver. That is the one that I'm using. And I have this Express just to make the code run, but actually you can use whatever you want. And for the tests, we are using this Selenium WebDriver, and we have like this driver that is working for Chrome in my example, because I love Chrome. And we have to tell him to get to our endpoint, to the base URL, and then we find the IDs of the HTML where I need to go to write some the numbers, how to click the button, and then we get the result. And actually, you have to write the error that you want to get. So if I'm adding 10 to 5 and the result is not 15, we need to add the message. So addition test failed, we have to do that. So to make sure that we get an error. So, and then if everything is good, we have test passed or test failed with the error message that we added, and then we just run it as a function. Let's see. So let's run this code. Oh, did it wrong? Run. It's really fast. You can't see anything. You get the message, all tests passed, because it was right. But I did something to make it a little bit slow, just to show you how it actually works. I just added some sleep on the test, just to actually see how it's working and what it's doing. It's writing 10 and then writing 5. Let's see the addition. The result is the same as it gets, and then the subtract. And we get our result. What has happened if the result is incorrect? Let's see. It will do the same thing, and the result is 15, but we're right that the result must be 13. So it failed, and it stopped on the test that is failed. So it will not go ahead and do all the tests. It will fail, and will get the test, the message of the test that doesn't pass. So this is for Selenium, just really easy to just see how it works. Let's move to Cypress. Cypress, little spoiler, is my favorite. So it came 10 years after Selenium. So Selenium, for 10 years, it was like the biggest option, and everyone was using that. And it was like the first really competitor of Selenium. And Cypress is particular because it was developed by a developer and who was mad at Selenium, probably. And he wanted to develop something for developers to make the developer experience better. And Cypress in particular specialized in end-to-end testing. With the other tools, you can do multiple types of testing. With Cypress, you can just do end-to-end testing. And it has support for JavaScript environments. So you can use JavaScript, TypeScript, all the other language, no. So Cypress is really specific on end-to-end testing and JavaScript. So yeah, the good things about Cypress is that it is specific, so it's written for that scope. So it has the best thing about that. Developer experience, actually, if you go to the Cypress website, the definition is that Cypress is an open source tool that takes out the pain of front-end developers. So it's actually written for developers, from developers to developers. So the developer experience is actually really good. It has automatic waiting. With Selenium, we get flaky tests because sometimes the tool is not waiting for the components to actually be rendered. So sometimes it clicks in a button that is not rendered, and then you cannot get the actual response. In this case, Cypress actually automatically, so you don't need to do anything, it automatically waits to the component to be ready to use. So it's actually rendered and ready to use. And it has a great error report. So we don't have to write the error messages because Cypress do it for us. Bad things about Cypress, but I think that are not that bad. Only JavaScript, so it's a limitation, but still I think it is the good things also for Cypress because it's specific, so you are sure that it's something written for that scope. So you have more support for that. Limited browser support, it actually works only on Chrome, so no other browser. And something that it's missing from Cypress, but you can actually do it using plugins. But you need to know that plugins exist and that plugins is exist. So this is a good thing, but also like not that good. So let's see it in action and see how it works. We have the same code, so same demo. We have to actually install Cypress. That's it. And here we can add some configuration. So the minimal is like to have like just the base URL. So we are, I don't use fixtures, so I don't need any fixture folders. And for the end-to-end testing, I just indicate the base URL that it needs to go. And then for the testings, oh, no, it's not this one, Cypress, end-to-end. This part, this folder, Cypress, actually, it's like automatically configured from Cypress. When you install it, you just get all the files from Cypress, and you just need to add the tests. So before each, we visit the page. So it doesn't work on parallel, so you have to visit the page every time you run a test. So every test is independent one from another, and this is, I think, a good thing because it will not stop after the failure, and you will get all the results of all the tests. And like before, we just get the IDs of the HTML, of the inputs that we want to fill. We click on the button and we ask for a certain result. So we just have a result that has this value. We don't need to add any error message because it will do it for us. There are two ways to run Cypress. You can just run it and we'll do everything on the background. And this is what I'm doing. I'll just run the code and just get the tests running, and I will just get the results. So all tests passed, and I'm good to go. But if I want to actually see what's happening, we can use the Cypress tool. That is, we need to do Cypress open. If you open it, we'll get the Cypress UI. That is this UI, and we have to select which type of testing we are doing. We are doing end-to-end testing. Yeah, I should run the code because it's not running. So now it's running, and I can open Cypress. I select end-to-end testing. I need to select the browser. It's Chrome. And then I will get all the files, the testing files that I can have multiple ones. I just have calculator. I will select it, and it will do everything, and you can see it. And the cool things about it is that you can click on the specific like test. Let's get it bigger. And if you get on top of it, you can actually see the steps, and you can see what's happening in here. So expected result 15, result 15. Let's see an error. Let's see how it's actually handle errors. Let's do that. This is not 15. We want 13. Let's rerun it. We just need to do the same thing here. And not passed. The second one, it's green because it actually run the second test, even if the first one was not passed. And here you can actually see that we are getting the error, and we are getting in particular where the error is. And this is really helpful. And it told us that we're expecting to have result 13, but the text was result 15. So we can actually know where we can adjust our code, let's see. So yeah, this is it for Cypress. Let me stop this. And let's move on to the last one, that is Playwright. Playwright is the younger one. It came 10 years after Cypress, more or less. And it is developed by Microsoft. So it's a Microsoft product, and it's actually, even if it's actually like 4 or 5 years that it's from the release, but actually it's using, it's starting to have a great use from developers. And I think that's because it's like something similar to Selenium. So I think that from Microsoft, they were using, because like support for C#, .NET, and like all the Microsoft products was, the only support was Selenium. So they wanted to do something for their like programming language. So Playwright is really similar to Selenium for the support and everything, but it has like something new, that it's Selenium better, but also like better than Cypress as well. So it's like taking all the missing from the other tools. So we have a lot of languages support. The only one that is missing from Selenium is PHP. Anyone mad of that? No? Okay. And so language and browser support as Selenium. We had this headless mode that is really cool, because you can choose if you want to use it or not. Headless mode, it means that it runs in the background. So if it's true, it just runs the tests, and you can just get the results. Or if you do it like false, you can have like the traditional browser open up and you can see everything. And it has support for mobile emulation, and this is actually great, something really, really new. The cons of Playwright is a little bit complex and not intuitive, but I think that's because it's new. So we don't have the experience for it, and there is a small community because it's new. It's still young, so we need like to use it more to see where are like the vulnerabilities and where it can actually do better. But for like the age that it is, that it has, we can like see that is actually really, really good. Let's see how it works. So same demo for Playwright. We can use Playwright as itself, or we can use Playwright test. I prefer Playwright test because it's like more similar to an automation tool. But if you use Playwright, you can use it like also like with Jest, for example, for unit tests or other stuff. For end-to-end testing, Playwright test is the better. And this is what I'm using. In this case, we have, yes, it is. Here, yeah, the configuration, we see. We just have to, before all, launch Chromium, because difference between Playwright and Cypress, that Cypress will run into your browser. So the browser that you have on your computer, it will run on that browser. With Playwright, it will run on a different browser. So it will open a desktop browser, Chromium, and will launch and go to the page of the base URL that you are indicating. And after all, you need to reclose the browser. And for the test, same thing. You fill the inputs, click the button, and just tell the result that you want to get, and the errors will be managed from Playwright. And for the configuration, you can actually add something that is really cool. You have the headless. In this case, I'm starting with false, and then we'll see it how it actually works if we want to do headless true. You can indicate the directory of the test. So if you have like multiple tests, you can indicate exactly where do you want to get the test files, and then you can ask the web server to run your code for you, so you don't have to run it, because like in the configuration you do npm start, and then you actually indicate the URL that will be using your code. Let's make it run. I have these tests. Okay, you can't see much because it's really fast, but you will get like the solutions here. You have two posts. Let's see the error. That is like the most important thing, I think. Here, results, let's see, 13. And we'll open up. Oh, why it's passed? Okay, something's wrong. Oh my God, I was telling good things about Playwright. What is happening? Let's do a thing that, let's close everything and reopen it, and then let's see. No, it's passed. I don't know. It's 13. If you did 15, yes, 10. No, no. I'm using the wrong file. Here it is. Sorry about that. Okay. This one was the file for if you want like to do with jest. For this one, for Playwright, we have this. In fact, you can see that I'm using Playwright test for end-to-end testing. And yeah, let's see. Same thing here. Let's do 13. The code is actually really similar. It just has tests from Playwright tests and not like the traditional unit tests. If we run it, we'll get the actual error. Okay. And here you can get actually the error. As in Cypress, we'll get exactly where the error it happened, and so it's easier to get to actually debug your code. Let's see really quick the headless true. So if I wanted to do it headless, if I rerun the code, the browser pop-up will not like shown, but you'll get the result here, and you have like the first is it's not passed, but the second is passed because it will run all the tests, even if it doesn't pass. Okay, let's go back to the conclusions. So we are here to see what is the best testing tool. The right answer is always it depends, but we can make some consideration. So I think that Cypress and Playwright are becoming a lot popular. So it's popular, and I think that for younger developers, they can't see even Selenium because this is it's happening now. So if I need to learn something about testing, I will go for the popular ones, and the younger ones that are Cypress and Playwright. Cypress came like a package. It means that we have a certain language, certain browser, a defined ecosystem that we are going to use. For Playwright, we have freedom for languages and for browsers. Cypress ran with Mocha for testing. With Playwright, we have support for Mocha, but also, as we have seen, for Jest, Jasmine, and other testing frameworks. Selenium and Cypress have a large community because they are older, of course, and the documentation is really rich. Playwright is too young, but still the documentation is really good, actually really good. For small, large projects, we can use the three frameworks. They work really fine. But I think that for the more complex one, Selenium and Playwright are better because Cypress is more specific. It will use your browser, and it works one tab at a time. So you cannot run tests that will use different tabs of the browser. So it's a little bit tricky. You have to write really simple tests. So Selenium and Playwright are better if you want something complex. And this is easy, but still, if you are using a program that uses a JavaScript stack, stay with the JavaScript, with Cypress, because it's written for JavaScript. A Playwright is written in TypeScript, so it's a good solution. If you work with Microsoft stacks, Selenium, it works fine, but Playwright is a Microsoft tool, so it's always better. So this is my conclusions. Here you can find the demo that we just saw, the 3 demos into this repository, if you want to play around with that. And yeah, you can find me pretty much everywhere if you want to connect with me or ask me any questions. You can reach out to me in any social media. I will answer, really happy to answer. And thank you very much.
One quick question. Or was it all super clear?
Not sure if I need the microphone from here, but I think you mentioned that Playwright also has support for mobile emulation.
Yeah.
Is that specifically for testing in the browser, or is that for native mobile apps also?
For native apps.
Okay.
Yeah, I've tried it with Flutter.
Yes.
And it's amazing.
Yeah?
It's amazing. It works. It works.
Sounds perfect.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice one.
Thank you. Don't have much time really for the next
Okay.
one, but do you want to take another question or two?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Another question?
Yes.
I have worked with both Playwright and Selenium. I know when I started with Selenium, there were kind of a framework, testing frameworks that you create, like page object model, hybrid model. With Playwright, I don't see that such kind of models. We just have specs and is there any other thing that I'm missing here? Like, do we have any testing framework for Playwright as well?
No, I don't think that's something else than Playwright. So if you want to use Playwright, you can use it or as it is, or the other library that I think this is more a little bit more complex, more complete, but still it's there is nothing. I think that is too young that's why, or just is like really good as it is. If you have any other question, maybe we have time for one.
Okay, one more question. Anybody? Your biggest fan here.
So no, you might have mentioned this already in the presentation, but does Playwright also have automatic weighting, or do you need to write your
Yes,
weights yourself?
yes. It's actually, it started with Playwright because Cypress didn't have that before. So after that, Cypress needed to be up on date, so it came. It's actually after Playwright, or also other testing tools integrated these things, because you get error from that problem in particular. So yeah, Playwright was the one that gave that. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.